Hello, this is the video version of what I expect will be episode number 526 of my podcast for learners of English, Luke's English Podcast. There you go, there's the logo, just in case you've never seen it before. Now, this episode features a conversation with my friend Paul Taylor, who's a professional stand-up comedian and a regular guest on this show. This conversation covers a few things, including what Paul's been up to recently, his new vlog, which you can find on YouTube. Just search for Paul Taylor and you can find his vlog episodes there. His recent holidays in Japan and Barcelona. And then we go on to focus on travel and tourism as a topic, including the good and bad points about being a tourist, and a few of our recommendations if you're thinking of travelling to Paris or London as a tourist. Enjoy the video. This might end up on YouTube eventually, but it's available first for visitors to my website and users of my app. You can get the audio version of this on the podcast normally, episode 526, I expect. As I said, this will probably go up on YouTube, but later on. If you are watching this on YouTube and you're new to my podcast, then you can get all of my episodes on my website, and that's teacherluke.co.uk. And you can get all my episodes in my app, which is available free on the in the App Store for Android and iOS devices. Just search for Luke's English Podcast app and you'll find it. The podcast is for learners of English, and on the podcast I present a mix of entertaining listening practice and also English teaching. Check it out if you are not already a regular listener. If you are already a regular listener, then hello, lovely to have you with me again. But now I will let you listen to and watch my recent conversation with Paul Taylor about tourism, which we recorded just a couple of days ago, just up here outside on the rooftop, when the weather was much nicer than it is today. So when I click my fingers in a second, we'll go back in time to last Friday afternoon, and I will be able to make the weather much nicer, which would be a great superhero skill, to be able to click my fingers and make the weather good. Unfortunately, it's not a superhero skill that I have, except in my videos, when I can just click my fingers and make the weather good, like I will do right now. Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to this episode of Luke's English Podcast. I'm sitting here, not in direct sunlight, but up on the roof. The sun is shining. The sky is blue. I'm sitting next to Paul Taylor.
Hello! It's 21 degrees.
Is it 21 degrees?
Yeah, I did an Instagram story and it allows you to put the current temperature. And so it's 21. It feels like 67 because we're English.
Yes.
Well, I'm English and I'm melting right now.
I think I'm dying. I actually genuinely, during the winter, I spend all the time just going, oh, I wish the sun would come out. And then the sun does come out and I'm like,
yeah.
I can't handle the sunlight. I think I'm dying. I'm not designed to live in any kind
Outdoor.
of weather.
Yeah.
There's only like 3 days of the year where the temperature is bearable in either direction for me.
Yeah, same. Totally the same.
Welcome back onto the podcast,
Yeah,
Paul.
thanks. It's been a long time. You probably know better than I do when the last episode was that I was on.
I think the last time you were on the podcast was when we were talking about philosophy. No, actually, that we recorded before Christmas and I published it a couple of months later.
Okay. Was that just me and you? Was that with Amber as well?
That was with Amber as well.
Okay.
But I think that was the
We're
time.
talking about philosophy.
Yeah, you don't remember that?
No.
We did a philosophy quiz and it was annoying because.
Oh yeah. I remember. Yeah. I remember getting annoyed. Yeah, it was like yeah. Okay, I remember that.
Well, that was the
Is
last.
that the last time? Okay. Well, hello everyone. It's good to. I was going to say it's good to see you all again.
You can't.
But I can't see anyone. But you can't. I don't know. I feel like I see them. I've got people from your podcast on my vlog who wanted us to do a vlog together, which is why I did a vlog today with you.
Yes.
Some Lepsters who are becoming. I don't have a name.
Paul Taylor's vlog.
I can't. Team Taylors.
Team Taylor.
Initially, I was going to be like, oh, Team Taylor. Blah. Then I realised that Taylor Swift has
Team Taylor
has coined that, so I was like, no, I'll be all right, thanks.
Okay.
But her first name is Taylor. It's not a first name; it's a last name.
It's not, is it?
It drives me nuts.
Swift. Swift. Okay, fair enough. That's
Swift. Yeah,
it's not bad. But Taylor Swift.
Taylor.
Yeah.
It's just Americans use Taylor as a first name quite a lot.
Such a typical American name, isn't it?
Yeah. So anyway, I need to find a thing for. So you've got Lepsters. Because everyone on YouTube's got a thing. It's like, the Jake Paulers. There's a guy called Jake Paul who does stuff like the Low Gang. Everyone's got a fucking name for their community, and I think I need to find one. I don't know what. Suggest me. Write comments in.
Mm-hmm.
Go to my vlog. If you go to YouTube and you go to Paul Taylor, I have a vlog that I do every day at 7 a.m. French time, where I basically talk about my life as a comedian and just my life in general. And write some comments. Say, hey, I'm a Lepster. Here's a suggestion for you, Paul, for what you should call your community. I'd love some comments.
Yeah, send your comments into the comments section of Paul Taylor's vlog on YouTube. What's a vlog? Someone is now going, what is vlog?
What is vlog? A vlog. Okay, so it's a mixture of a couple of things. It's a mixture of the word blog, which I can't remember the origin of the word blog.
Weblog. I pointed there, but that was just to get your attention. I wasn't pointing at an object.
Okay, I thought you were pointing at a dictionary of something.
No, I was just pointing my finger in the air in order to emphasize the what I was saying.
Okay, a weblog,
meaning a log like a diary.
Okay, on the web.
Yeah. Okay, on the web. Exactly.
So a blog is a written thing, a written diary that you would do. So the term blogger is a big thing. Vlog is the same thing but video. So you do a video diary. It's basically a video diary of what I'm doing. And the idea of doing the vlog I started in February was people were saying to me, Paul, you're a comedian. How do you earn a living? You're only working 3 days a week, and each day you're working 1 hour because your show is 1 hour. So I wanted to show the behind the scenes of what I do full time now. Because those of you who are long-time Lepsters will remember me at the very beginning. I was starting to do comedy. I was still working at Apple. I ended up quitting that, and now I wanted to show the behind the scenes of what a comedian's life in Paris is. So that's my vlog that I do every day, 7 a.m. So subscribe. Go onto my YouTube channel, subscribe, and also so by the time you've listened to this, because I imagine this isn't going out today or tomorrow, so by the time you've listened to this, there will be probably a few different vlogs. If you go to the vlog where you see the episode with Luke Thompson, leave your comments on there, because then you'll be like Ninja Lepsters on Luke's vlog day. If you're looking for the date, it will be out on Friday the 12th of May. So if you go through my YouTube channel, find the 12th of May. I don't know what the title of the vlog is going to be yet.
I don't know which number it is.
It's vlog number 12 because it's the 12th of May. So I started the vlog again on the 1st of May. So it will be, so for the month of May, it makes sense. So it's vlog number 12. So if you go to Paul Taylor, vlog 12, you'll see Luke on there where we talk about learning languages, and leave the comments on there so then you can be like little ninjas. And then also, I'll get a bunch of YouTube notifications for a video that's like 5 days old or however long it'll take. That was a long explanation, but yeah, good.
I'd like, create as many annoying, distracting notifications on Paul's phone as possible by leaving all your LEP Lepster-related comments in the comment section of Paul's vlog number 12, which you will find on YouTube.
YouTube.
Okay, where's Amber?
Amber is not here. Unfortunately, it's a bank holiday or a public holiday in France.
Well, yesterday was.
Sorry, yesterday was.
Which kind of makes today a public holiday too, doesn't it?
Yeah, the whole week's a public holiday. We had 2 public holidays in 1 week. One was a Tuesday, one was a Thursday, which means people ended up taking the Monday off. But then since Thursday, they would take the Friday off. So basically, Wednesday was the only working day, and then everyone took that off anyway. So basically, no one's working this week. They've taken... People, here's the thing. In France this week, they've been able to take 3 days of holiday and have basically 8 days of holiday, because they would have gone on holiday from Friday night last week until Sunday night of... That's almost 10 days of holiday by just taking 3 days off, which is amazing. So Amber's husband is he's doing the bridge, Le Pont. He's taking... What if he's on holiday, where is he?
Wait a minute.
She's looking after Hugo.
No. The point is that she's chosen to spend her day
with
her
husband and her son. Okay, sorry.
rather than with us.
Okay, which is totally
I can understand if
a bad idea.
If her family hadn't taken today off, then the Hugo would be in daycare. Amber's husband would be at work, and Amber would then be free to waste her time with us. Not that it's a waste of time, of course. But no, it's a family day. It's a family day. Family day for her. Ninja August strikes again.
Ninja August. Pow.
Yeah. No one expected it. In fact, Amber agreed. Yeah, fine. No, Friday. Yeah, brilliant. Lepster Day, and then she realised, no, it's May. Public holidays strike again. My husband is taking the day off.
Yeah.
So it's a family day. So there you go. That's where Amber is. I was gonna give you a certain time limit in which to tell us what you've been doing. You told us about the vlog there.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you, let's see, how long do you think is a reasonable amount of time to just fill us in?
2 minutes.
2 minutes, you reckon?
I think, yeah.
Right, so you're going to talk for 2 minutes about what you've been doing without stopping.
Okay.
I don't want any... you're not even allowed to breathe, that much. Like, just talk for 2 minutes with no spaces.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Okay, without pausing or repeating yourself.
Okay. Oh, without repeating I always repeat myself.
I know you. Yeah, I know you do.
My vlogs, when I edit my vlogs, it's a nightmare because I end up cutting everything out.
But you repeat yourself not in the same way that I repeat myself, because I will talk for a minute and then I'll say the same thing again for another minute.
I'll say it in a slightly different way.
You will say words or maybe half sentences twice.
Right. There was one vlog.
Say, for example, you'll say, so we're on the terrace, and like that. You don't know
I don't
about.
understand what you're talking about there.
So, for example, if, let's say, yesterday you went to the post office and you're telling us a story about how you... So you'd be like, yesterday I went to the post office. I can't give it.
And then a couple of words later, I'll be like, so I was at the post office.
No, it's like, so I went to the post office. Like, you actually say the thing twice, like literally
maybe
twice.
Maybe that's just become like a natural thing because I speak to a lot of non-English speakers.
Can I hold on a second? Can I just pause you right there? I think there's a technical issue with that microphone. So...
How do you know?
Because I'm monitoring this.
Oh, you can hear something. Okay,
there's something going on there.
Okay.
Emergency.
Change of microphone, people.
Emergency
Luke's
measures.
away. Oh, you can hear me. It doesn't matter.
What was he was going to say something?
While Luke's checking another. Sorry, you've got the microphone within 2 seconds. All right.
What's he talking about?
So I unplug.
Unplug. Detach. Reattach. Any time today would be good. This is all part of your 2 minutes. It's not really.
Hold that one. It doesn't have a...
It does have a... It does. There you go.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm back. Can you hear me properly?
Paul is back with a slightly louder microphone.
Oh, hello. Hi.
Okay, so are you ready to try and do this? No pausing, without repeating yourself, if possible. You've got 2 minutes to just tell us what you've been doing. All right? You ready? 3, 2, 1, activate.
So here's what I've been up to recently. I was doing my stand-up show, #Franglais, at the beginning of the year, January to March, 3 nights a week. And then also it became 4 shows a week because I was doing 2 shows on a Saturday. So that was amazing. That was kind of the end of the show, the run in Paris, which we ended up filming on the 31st of March. It was my last day at the theatre called La Nouvelle Ève. 280 people, very cool space. And so we filmed it, and now we're in the process of editing that video, a short version of the video, to give to TV companies who might want to buy the show. We're going to speak to Netflix and see if they're interested. I'm actually more interested in maybe just putting it on YouTube, even though we've spent 30,000 euros making the video. I'd like to maybe just put it on YouTube. So that's in terms of the stand-up show, what I was doing. At the same time I was doing my stand-up show, I started doing the vlog. So vlogging, as I said, every day, showing the behind the scenes of what my life is like as a comedian. So that's been a lot of fun because I like editing, I like making the vlog. It's also a new challenge for me. I'm a bit too obsessed with all the numbers on YouTube, so subscribe if you haven't already. I also spent some time off with my wife. We went to Japan for 2 weeks. On a holiday which she organised everything, and we ran around like crazy people for 2 weeks to all the different places, saw a lot of Japan. It was incredible. The people were lovely people. It made me realise how annoying French people are in Paris and how disrespectful they are compared to the respectfulness that Japanese people have. Respectfulness isn't a word, but I've just made it up.
30 seconds.
So that's what I did there, and I also spent some time in Barcelona. I spent 5 days in Barcelona with a friend of mine, a couple who are American couple who we went to their wedding in Austin, Texas. They were coming through Spain, and now I'm in this weird spot professionally where I finished my stand-up show. I'm still touring it, but I'm testing new material for a second show, but I don't know where I am. So I'm in a very confused spot right now, but it's fun to be back on your podcast after such a long time.
Boom! 2 minutes. All right, that was brilliant. You passed. You passed the 2-minute test.
Good work.
Congratulations. Right, okay.
Because initially it was going to be 5 minutes. That would have been way too long.
Yes. It would have been, yeah.
That was good.
That was good. Well done.
So that's you're caught up on my life.
Should I, listeners? Should I ask him some more questions? Okay, I will.
Yes, ask him some more questions.
All right. So Japan then.
Yes.
So you loved it.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Where did you go exactly?
So initially we were going to start in Tokyo because we flew in and out of Tokyo. So Paris to Tokyo, Tokyo to Paris.
Yes.
However, we thought, the cherry blossom season. At the start was going to be good. In Kyoto is apparently where you go see all the cherry blossoms. So what we did was, the idea was we were going to fly directly to Tokyo, then take the train straight to Kyoto, so that we caught the end of the cherry blossom season. Problem is, the cherry blossom season started early this year, so we missed it all.
No, really?
Yeah. We got really like a couple of trees basically, and everyone was gathered around the same tree because it was the only tree left that had cherry blossomed. And so, but then the issue was our initial flight got cancelled to Tokyo, so we had to fly out the next day, and we flew to Osaka and then ended up in Kyoto. Sorry. Okay. So we started off in Kyoto, and then we did a couple of day trips from Kyoto to a place called Nara, where they have a big Buddha. As I'm looking at the Buddha that's in your garden,
I've got like a little pottery Buddha statue thing in the corner of the.
In the corner, yeah. So we did that. Then what else did we do? We went to what was the other day trip? I can't remember. We went to Hiroshima.
Yeah.
Then went to an island near Hiroshima called Miyajima. Then we stopped off at a castle in between Himeji, I think it was called. Okay. Himeji Castle. Then we went back to Kyoto. Then we went to a place called Koyasan, which is up in the mountains where you sleep with the monks.
Oh, you went to Koyasan?
Yeah.
Oh, it's good, isn't it?
Oh, it's incredible. That was my favourite thing of the whole trip.
Yeah, why?
Because I felt like I was in Japan.
Yeah, well, you were in Japan.
Yeah, but the rest of the time I felt like it didn't really feel, there were so many French people everywhere all the time. I don't know, I felt like I didn't really enjoy the experience of being a tourist.
Uh-huh.
I enjoyed Japan, I thought it was great, but Koyasan was amazing just because it was like, we were just in the middle of nowhere in what for me felt like Japan. We stayed in a temple, where you sleep on the futon on the floor, and they prepare you breakfast at 6 a.m, and you do it was like a ceremony in the morning that was like a monk, a Buddhist ceremony.
Did you go down and wake up with the monks then in their ceremony?
Yeah, it was really cool. It was a lot of fun. That was an amazing place.
And in Koyasan, there's this incredible graveyard.
Yes.
Did you walk through the graveyard?
We walked through graveyard at night, which is where I smashed my camera lens.
Yeah.
Wow, I got some pollen.
There's loads of pollen. Everyone's got hay fever. There's lots of pollen and sort of pollution in the air in Paris. It's a clear day in Paris, but everyone's coughing and sniffing.
Yeah. The graveyard was incredible. So we went to it at night. We didn't go during the.
Can't talk.
Let me get some water. Yeah, let me go get some water. We can hit pause.
I'll just carry on.
All right, you carry on. Yeah, I'm going to go get some water. People, I'm sorry. I'm dying. I'd rather get some water and then you don't hear me coughing the whole time.
Okay. So while Paul is going off to get some water, I can continue the commentary here. The podcast is going pretty well so far, I think. I'm actually videoing this one. Whether I've no idea how the video will turn out. So me saying that I'm videoing it may not be a good idea in the end, because you might be going, where's the video? And then I decided on closer inspection that the video didn't work. But anyway, I am videoing it. So hopefully, if the video turns out all right, you'll be able to watch a video. And I'm thinking, where am I going to put the video? We'll see. It'll probably go on the website and in the app first. And then later on, I might put it up on YouTube for everyone else. But I'd like to sort of reward the website and app Lepsters by putting the video up there first. So anyway, the episode's going all right so far, isn't it? You're listening to Paul talking about his recent experiences, including his trip to Japan. And when he gets back, I think what I'm going...
Back.
He's back, okay. And
I brought you some water.
Oh, brilliant. Hey, dropping water everywhere. That's all right. Ah, lovely. Nice. Is the camera level or is it wobbly?
I think it's all right.
It's
Hello, the camera.
It's all right. Okay.
So Koyasan, that was
so
great.
Koyasan, where you hung out with the Buddhist monks and got up early in the morning and went through this graveyard at night.
At night.
So what about the graveyard then? What's it like?
At night time, it's very cool. It's very creepy. There wasn't. It was raining. It was really like we got some really cool photos before I smashed my camera lens. It's just a really cool, like, just I don't know. It's just like there's moss everywhere. It's pretty creepy at night. We went quickly during the day. We didn't go through the whole thing.
Yeah.
But at night we went up to the place where some important monk is buried, or in eternal.
I think it may be the guy who brought Buddhism to Japan.
I think that's who it is. Yeah, I've forgotten his name.
I've forgotten his name. He probably did die.
Yeah. I don't know. It was good. And then after Koyasan, we went back to Kyoto and then went to Tokyo. We just stayed one night in Tokyo and then we went to the Five Lakes area around Mount Fuji.
Yes. Mount Fuji's pretty impressive, isn't it?
It is. However, the guidebooks are all full of shit about the like Lonely Planet and the French ones that we read, because basically they don't mention where the best view is.
Yes.
Of where the best view of Mount Fuji, which is where you want to take the photo. Basically, you go to Mount Fuji, if you're not going up it, because you're not there in the summer, you just want to take the photo of Mount Fuji. And the best one is in a place, it's near Lake Kawaguchiko. Okay. Where you take a tram and you get a pagoda in the foreground and Mount Fuji in the background, which no one mentions it in any of the tour guides. But then the rest here's what I felt like. We spent like 2 days there, I think 2.5 days around that area. And honestly, I think we could have spent an afternoon there, got the photo that we wanted to get. It was impressive. It was great. And the rest of the lakes were cool, but it was just a pain to get the buses. It was just like 2-hour buses. We missed the bus. It was just a nightmare, basically. We had a really bad experience around that area, just because
it's tourist land, isn't it?
It's
really
full of tourists,
and you're just stuck in like this tourist sort of. It's like a massive queue in a sense of just this convoy of tourists constantly moving through the area. Yeah, you mentioned on your vlog that you were kind of a bit fed up with the tourist experience.
Yeah, so I started a thing on the vlog, which I'll probably do in Paris at some stage as well. Where I was in Barcelona, and I had the idea of doing this in Japan, but I didn't really want to film anything. I wanted to take actual time off. And so my concept is FlipCam, where you go to a tourist destination.
#FlipCam.
Where you go to a tourist destination where you Google the image and the image is perfect. There's no people in the image. It's a perfect shot. And then you go to the place. Here's where I had the idea. It was I had the idea a couple of times, but I went to go see the big Buddha. There's this massive Buddha in Japan in a place called Nara, where there's lots of deer in the park and stuff. And you just type in Nara whatever into Google, and in the images you see this like picture of this Buddha. You go, wow, that's impressive. You go there, it's literally a queue of tourists trying to take the same photo, the perfect photo without any tourists in it. And what I wanted to do was flip the camera and show the picture of all the tourists with their fucking iPads trying to take the perfect photo, because I just find it a very strange like concept that we have in our minds where we want to take this photo, but we're seeing something that we never actually saw because our eyes are much wider angle than a camera lens. So when you're looking at through a camera lens, you can get the perfect shot if you crop it correctly. But in reality, when you're stood there without any cameras, it's impossible to not see the millions of people that are taking the photo. So it's kind of a weird concept. And somebody responded on my vlog. They're like, yeah, I do that because for me and my wife, we went to India, I think, and there was a lot of poverty and stuff there. It's Thailand.
Right.
And we took a lot of photos, but I didn't want to remember the poverty. I wanted to remember the good. I'm like, well, that's
just edit out the poverty. Yeah,
that's even more perverse in my mind. Yes. Of like, so you don't want to remember what it was actually like. You just want to remember your perfect. It's so
just edit out the poor people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I might do that in Paris. I might go to like the Eiffel Tower. Everyone takes that perfect photo of the Eiffel Tower, but in reality, when you're under the Eiffel Tower, it's a nightmare. There's people everywhere. There's people trying to sell you crap souvenirs.
There's guys trying to like rip you off or whatever.
It's just so I think it's interesting for people who haven't been to those. Like I've been to so many places now and done all that tourist stuff. that I'm just tired of it. I don't want to do it anymore.
It can be very hard, in a sense, to go and visit a country for just a couple of weeks and have the full-on authentic experience and really have a meaningful personal experience. It's actually very hard to do that.
It's very difficult.
And what happens is that, in order to plan it, you end up looking in the guidebooks and stuff, and you how do you decide which things to see? You end up, looking at the list of top 10 places, and you think, well, we better go here, because where else are you going to go? The only other times that you experience a genuinely meaningful tourist, experience is when you're living in the country, and it just sort of happens by accident. There'll just be one evening where you end up being invited to some restaurant, and you find yourself in some little courtyard, or you find yourself in like the back room of a restaurant doing karaoke, and you come out of the restaurant quite late, like 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's raining in the street, and you're walking down a back street in a part of town that you wouldn't have gone to, and you have one of those authentic little moments, and you can't plan those, quantify it or plan it. It helps if you know people who live in the place.
Yeah, I think that's the key, really. We were going there for 2 weeks, and it's so far that you want to go see the things that you're supposed to go and see, And the monuments and the temples and all that kind of stuff were great, but it was just I don't know, unless you get up at 5 a.m. And see them on your... I don't know, the tourist experience ruins it for me.
Yeah.
Because also, it's the worst part... It's the worst people of all humanity from every country combined into one area. So you see Americans that you hate, you see English people that you hate, you see French people that you hate, Spanish... You're just like, oh, God.
Everyone's acting like a robot. They're like zombies, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%. And it bugged me. So I that part of the experience, it did open... Like, it opened... I don't know. It's also the first time I've been like a tourist for that amount of time in a place for like 6 years. Like I've travelled a lot for work and things, but you don't do the touristy stuff when you're going for work.
Really.
So it's
well, tell me one or two things that really stood out. I mean, Koyasan was probably a nice little break from the tourist trail a little bit. But did you have any individual specific experiences that you think are memorable, like a food experience or something some little thing you saw?
Having a Japanese breakfast at 7 a.m. It can be tough when you're a Westerner.
What's a Japanese breakfast then?
It's basically, if you go to a Japanese restaurant for dinner, it's the same thing but for breakfast.
They eat the same thing for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm sure that's not true. I'm sure that it's not true.
For Westerners, it feels like that because it's not sweet at all. That you have like a miso soup in the morning, like pickled onions and pickled vegetables, rice with soy sauce,
probably some grilled fish.
It just like us little Westerners are used to croissants in the morning.
Yeah, we're like
orange juice.
We're like children. It's like, I need jam, I need chocolate in the morning.
I need little bread with butter.
Yeah.
So that was challenging a couple of times, but it was fun. And I think that in France, in any case, every Japanese restaurant is basically sushi, and over there it's very difficult to find a sushi restaurant.
Well,
in the places that we were, Tokyo, yes.
Right.
But you have to really go out. Like for every sushi restaurant, there's probably about 30 ramen restaurants.
Yeah, there's so many different types of food. That's right. In Paris, it's true. It's unbelievable, really, that every street in Paris has got a pharmacy, a boulangerie, and a sushi restaurant.
Yeah.
It's really odd. Like so many sushi restaurants here, but in Japan, it's not all sushi.
Yeah, we only had sushi twice.
Really,
and it was the 2 nights that we were in Tokyo. We only spent 2 nights in Tokyo.
How was the sushi there, by the way?
It was great. Yeah, it was really good. Yeah. Well, we wanted to go to like a fancy sushi place, but they're all booked out because we were in Tokyo on the weekend. So what we ended up doing was going to like a sushi train thing where you order it on an iPad and it comes to you. It was amazing.
Wonderful. Did you go to the market by any chance? Did you go to
the fish market?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did, but we went. It was later on, so it's like it was all closing up. We didn't because apparently you got to get up at 3 a.m. to go watch the auctions. Have you done that?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
You've gone to the auctions at like 3 a.m.
I went there years ago before it sort of. It's different these days. A lot of the fish merchants have moved out and they've gone somewhere else. I don't know why. Like for some reason, Tsukiji Market's not the same as it used to be. That's what I've been told. But back in 2003, I went there once with my cousin when he was visiting, and we went out with a couple of friends, and we went out for food and beers, and we did karaoke, and we stayed out all night.
Oh, nice.
And then at 4 o'clock in the morning, we headed off to Skiji Market, and we turned up there before the sun had come up. And there's just rows and rows forever. I don't know how many football pitches worth of space there is, but it just felt like it went on forever. And just everything from the sea that you can imagine, just anything that's in the sea. If you had been swimming in the sea, they would have eaten you as well. It's like that. Like anything that's alive and swimming in the sea, then they will eat it. And so all sorts of things there. And yes, then there's one area which is like a big sort of walk-in freezer area, and there are rows and rows and rows of huge frozen tuna fish.
Yeah.
And they're doing an auction there, selling the tuna, and the tuna's been cut in a certain way that I guess the innards have been removed, the gills have been removed, and you just get these huge tuna bodies all frozen in big rows, and they're massive. And then there's like a guy doing the auction, and he's speaking so quickly, apparently in a version of Japanese that even like ordinary Japanese people can't understand.
Wow.
And they're just selling off all the bits of tuna fish and massive bits of fish, like all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, we saw all the heads of the fish,
right?
Because they were closing up. But yeah, we didn't have enough time to lose a night or lose a day, basically, because once you do that, then you can't really whatever. So we would have liked to do that, but yeah, it was, again, I think I was reading that it's become so touristy that they're going to move it, and it's the same thing with Barcelona now. I talked about it in my vlog a little bit. There was a park, which Gaudi designed, right. And it's called Parc Güell, and you go there. I went there 10 years ago. We went there 9 years ago, and you just walk up, and it was like this the bench thing, and there's like mosaic benches that you can sit on. It's great. It's all changed now. You got to buy tickets. You have to come in at a certain time because there's too many tourists, and they need to keep they need to keep it reasonable in terms of degradation. So it's I don't know. I read the same thing about Machu Picchu in Peru as well. Yeah. Where it's at some stage that it's going to close, like no one can go anymore because there's just been too many tourists and they're degrading all the parts. And you see pictures of Machu Picchu. I can't imagine what it's like in real life. I think it's probably a nightmare.
Yeah, I think they actually have a limited number of people who can actually access the park or the area every year, I think, in Machu Picchu. I'm not sure. We were thinking of going there once, and we started to look into it and stuff, and we ended up going somewhere else. But yes, Machu Picchu, there's like a trail that you have to take to get there, and I think you have to book your tickets to enter the area in advance, and so they try and limit the number of people who are going in there.
There's just too many people on the planet now. I think that's it. It's too many people, and air travel is so accessible nowadays that there's too many people travelling, and that's why these tourist areas just end up being terrible now.
Yeah, there is an argument for just staying in, isn't there?
Yeah, totally.
Like just stay in and close the curtains.
Yeah.
Don't get sun. Keep the sun off your skin.
Yeah.
Because that's bad for you as well, apparently. And just use your imagination.
Yeah. I'm tired of travelling now.
Really?
Yeah, and I think I'm numb to it in the sense that when I was a kid, I was lucky to travel around with my parents, living in different places, and then with my job at Apple, I was traveling all the time. 6 months of the year I was in. I was in. At some stage I did I've got a screenshot somewhere of my. I had a TripIt account, which is where when you get an email with all your itinerary, you send it to TripIt, and they automatically put it all in a nice format. And I think that
it tells you how many miles you've travelled.
Yeah, how many countries. Like I think I'd been to 12 countries. I'd taken 70 flights in 1 year, and it was just what I realised is that everyone's the same. Really, we've all got cultural differences, but everyone really behaves the same deep down. And you just see, it was just like in Japan, we went to, in Kyoto, there was the first stop. First time I saw a temple, I was like, whoa, this is cool. After the third one, I was like, all right, cool, I get it now. Like and I'm sure it's the same thing when Japanese people come here and they see a church. They go, oh, that's a church. Oh, that's a cathedral. That's great. Great. They're all the same. It's just a place where you go in, they've got tinted windows, and you walk around and you do the tour and you come back out. And you can't speak to each other. A temple, the same thing. It's like great architecture. You walk in, you take your shoes off, you go around, you see all the panels, and then you walk back out.
Yeah, yeah, true.
So I don't know. I've become
You've become a little bit what's the word for it? Jaded in terms of your tourism stuff, in terms of your attitude towards being a tourist.
A little bit. Like I just want to not go anywhere anymore. I just feel like staying put and then going on holiday, like going to a beach where I don't have to do anything, where there's nothing to see or nothing to do, so I can actually relax. And chill out. Like it's more tiring being a tourist than it is working.
Traveling around. How long did you have in Japan?
To 14 days.
14 days, right? Doing all that stuff in 14 days, it's very intense and exhausting, actually. I mean, wonderful and brilliant. Like, you see so many cool things and stuff. But,
it's incredible. I'm glad we did it that way because, one, it meant that we saw a lot of Japan.
Yes.
And two, it made me realise how much I hate being a tourist. And it's not because I want to be different and be like, I'm going to be the anti-tourist. I'm going to be a traveller instead of being a tourist. I'm going to show up and speak to the people. I love that concept, but I think it's just, I have a difficult time being a tourist and having my camera around my neck and going to see the things. And
I reckon everyone does. I mean, surely. You see, in Paris, walking around, you see those busloads of tourists from wherever they're from, like all sorts of places, and they are in a bus being driven around the town. You think, and you look through the windows.
They can't be having a good time.
They can't be having a. It's like they might as well be watching TV, just looking through the screen.
Exactly,
it's the same thing, isn't it?
That's the other thing, is that I think I've seen so much, or I had seen so much of Japan on video, that nothing really surprised me.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, I feel like, I have to say, with your experience, you just scratch the surface and the surprising stuff comes later.
Yeah. But then how do you do that when you're, when you're traveling for 2 weeks to a place? Like if you live in China and you're flying to Paris or to France for 2 weeks,
right,
you're going to do all the basic stuff, like the level 1 stuff. You're going to go to the Eiffel Tower, you're going to go to the Sacré-Cœur, you're going to go to Bordeaux maybe and try some wine. Whatever, if you're doing a trip around France, you do that, and then so then you do just scratch the surface. But so then you have to go back, and then like if I was to go back tomorrow, I would try and find somebody that knows, or I would do more personal guided tours of things. I think we just did it all ourselves.
Personal guided tours is good. Just getting off the beaten path as much as possible, meaning just trying to avoid the top 10 things, and try and find like the other little places. But it's it's a question of how do you know about those things.
So many websites.
Personal recommendations are good.
Yeah,
doing lots of research online to find the hidden cool things.
Yeah, but then if they're online now, they're not hidden anymore. That's the thing.
Yes, that's right.
It's really difficult to.
Another idea potentially is to sort of intentionally get lost somewhere.
Yeah.
So you just take off on foot somewhere, or maybe you rent bikes or something, and you just go off, and you don't sort of, the thing is when you go to the tourist attractions, you take the bus or the quickest route to get directly to the doorstep of that place.
Yeah.
Whereas another idea could be that you just walk through a part of town and just wander and get lost there and see where you end up.
But that's
but that's a risk because you might
just wasting your time.
Yeah, you might walk around the most boring part of town.
The boring business district which has got nothing, and you're just like, great, now I'm tired because I've been walking and I've wasted my time where I could have just got to the temple a lot quicker.
And like in Paris, for example, if you do that, if you just turn up at the Gare du Nord and go for a walk, there's a good chance you might get stabbed. You're going to walk through the shittest part of town.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Gare du Nord is next to some of the worst parts of town. So it can be very difficult. What people need really is sort of personal recommendations. And on the subject of personal recommendations, Paul, do you have any personal recommendations for people visiting both Paris and London?
I could go. That's a whole episode in itself, I think.
Just a quick one or two.
A quick thing. If you're coming to Paris, I think the biggest thing is as a non-French person is just to have patience. Understand that Paris is a very busy city with more people per square kilometre or square metre than most cities in the world. I think it's, number 5 in the most densely populated cities in the world.
Yeah, because
it's a small city and there's a lot of people in it. It's not high-rise, but
every single street has got rows and rows of terraced apartment buildings with 6 floors.
Yeah.
every street's got 6 floors worth of apartments on it, and so it's very dense.
It's much more dense than London, and so I think a part of that, the part of the problem there is just that people end up jaded. You can't not get angry and just hate humanity when you live in such small confines with people. So if you're coming to Paris, be patient with the waiters. If people are rude to you, you just got to accept it. It'll be annoying, but don't let it ruin your experience.
Yeah. Don't be too shocked by rude waiters.
No.
Don't worry about it.
What else would I say?
I would say on the subject of the Gare du Nord. So there are stations all around Paris.
Yeah.
There's obviously the metro stations and stuff, but also there are bigger stations that connect Paris with other parts of France, and also with the Gare du Nord, which is the station of the north that connects Paris to London. And many people will, if they're tourists coming to Paris and they're visiting London as well, many people will pass through the Gare du Nord, and the Gare du Nord might be the first place that you arrive when you come to Paris. And the Gare du Nord is not a good first impression.
No.
It just happens to be not a very nice part of town. I mean, some people obviously live there and all that kind of thing, and they might have a different viewpoint. But generally speaking, it's not the most attractive area. And so it's a good idea to immediately move away from the Gare du Nord
as
area
quickly as possible.
Yeah, and if you're going to get a hotel, what many people do is they think, well, I want a hotel that's close to the station, that's fairly cheap. Well, if you get a cheap hotel near Gare du Nord, it's going to be a really horrible place.
Yeah.
So try and, ignore the Gare du Nord, move away from that area, go to the west of that area, head towards the sort of, the region that we're in now, like the 9th arrondissement.
Yeah, I don't know. Tourists will end up going to all the different spots, which is cool. I remember the first time I came to Paris, was my wife. She took me on a double-decker bus tour. I really recommend that actually in Paris. Is the double-decker bus. It's super touristy. However, you get to see all the tourist spots within 2 hours.
Yeah.
If you take the multiple different lines. Don't worry about the photos. No one cares about the photos. When you take the photos, you're not going to ever see them again, and you're never going to show your friends the photos. So you don't get on the bus to take the photos. You just get on the bus to, one, hear the history and the links to those, which is very cool. And two, you get to see the city. I mean, it needs to be a nice day, of course, because otherwise it's a little bit terrible. But I remember in London, in Paris, and in Barcelona, they had 3 tourist buses, and they were great because you get to see the city, and it's just places that you want to go back to for certain reasons, like, you want to go into a certain church because there's a certain thing that happened there that interests you, then you can go back there. But I really recommend the bus. I mean, it can be a bit expensive, but it's totally worth it.
They're hop on, hop off, aren't they?
Yeah, don't hop off though.
Why not?
Just stay on it for the whole thing. That's like my thing with the hop on, hop off. Just hop on and stay on. Do the whole tour. And then go back individually, like to the metro because the queues are miles long. Do you have to hop on and hop off? Can you not literally?
Can you not just step on like
normally?
No,
it's illegal to step on.
Really?
You get fined. Yeah. So you have to literally jump on. It's not jumping. It's not stepping. It's a hop. It's an in between a hop and a jump.
So you have to
a step and a jump.
You're not allowed to use one of the. You have to use only one leg and just boink, boink, hop on. You don't really, obviously. Some listeners are going, "What? It's illegal. You have to hop." But
that's just my English sarcasm.
Stupid, sarcastic humour.
I think in London and in Paris, tips: take the tourist bus. That's the first thing you should do when you land. And you get to your hotel, drop your stuff off, go to one of the double-decker buses and do the tour.
Yeah.
Because you see the city quicker than any other way.
Yeah. And then after that, you can kind of, maybe with a map, you can be like, I like this area, I like that area, let's explore that area. And then you need to get on foot and walk around a bit.
Take the map with you and circle it. Take a pen with you. And go, I love this place. That looks like a cool area. Circle it. So that when you get off the bus, because then if you get off the bus, you'll hang around the place. And then when you try and get on the bus, there'll be a queue. And then you have to wait for the second bus. And it all becomes a big bit of a mess. So what I recommend is that you get on the bus when you can and stay on it. And almost sometimes we've done it where we get on the bus. And the seat isn't great. It's not, you just wait for the perfect seat and then do the full tour. Right. It takes you like 2 or 3 hours, and it's great. You get to see the whole city. I would recommend that for cities where there are landmarks. If you go to a city like Madrid, it's not as good because there's no landmarks really in Madrid. Madrid is a great city to visit, but not for its Big Ben's, not for its Eiffel Towers, not for the things that, it's not a visual. It's you walk it and you see things, and you go to a park, you go to a museum, that kind of
the
thing.
Sort of street life, isn't it? And the sitting in the outside restaurants in the street and stuff like that. Okay, another tip I would give to anyone visiting Paris is you may have heard that Parisians are unwilling to speak English. It's not true, but there are certain rules, and what you must do is there's a code word. There's like a password or maybe two passwords that you have to use in order to unlock any French person in public, and they're all locked. They're locked. They're like doors that are locked, and if you enter you enter the right password, and they will open up to you, and that password is bonjour. Okay, bonjour or bonsoir, and if you say either of those words before anything else, that's like the password that you need to enter into a French person's face before they will be willing to talk to you. And so you should say bonjour. So anything, even if it's a person in the street, bonjour, can you tell me where the bank is, please? Or bonjour, and then you can speak. Honestly, you could probably speak English after that.
Excusez-moi aussi works. Like I've said, I that's the,
but Paul, I even think excusez-moi, you have to throw in a bonjour as well. Excusez-moi, bonjour, and then you do it. Honestly, I'm telling you, you have to say bonjour.
Yeah.
Or bonsoir if it's after 6 p.m.
Yeah.
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 The difficulty now is that because it's light at 6 p.m, people are confused. So I said,
because of course you get the Sebastian Marx scenario.
Yeah, which is just after 6:01 if you say bonjour and the other person says bonsoir. I don't know. I've never really. I think it's maybe more of a foreign thing. Like as a French speaker, when I'm in a supermarket or something, I just go excusez-moi, je cherche.
Yeah, well then all you need to do is go je cherche, like the way you did, and they're like, well, it's fine, he's French.
Yeah, maybe.
But for me, I notice tourists a lot in the area where I live, and they just go straight in with English. And that's a terrible mistake. That's a really bad first impression. French people obviously appreciate it a lot if they see that you're making an effort to speak their language. But regardless of that, there's that, like speaking their language, making an effort to speak French a little bit, which will help. But as well as that, even between French people, you have to say bonjour or bonsoir before you get anything else done. But yeah, learn a few bits of French. And use them when you're talking to people in the shop or whatever, and they'll be a lot more friendly with you after that. So that it's not that Parisian people are unfriendly, although they can be, actually. But it's not as simple as that. You also know how to kind of unlock them. You need to know the cheat codes to be able to get the right response from a Parisian person. And then, well, in terms of places to visit, well, Paris is full of amazing places to visit. We don't really need to go into that.
No, just type in things to see in Paris and go to all of those.
Yeah. And walk around a lot. That's good.
Yeah.
Take the bus and walk. The metro is not the most attractive.
I was thinking about doing a video.
Yeah.
Like Paris in 24 hours or something like that.
Yeah, good idea.
Or doing a series of videos like here's this city in 24 hours. Here's what you should do. Bang.
Yeah, definitely. What about London? Any tips? Where would you recommend people go and hang out in London? Any good places to visit? I mean, anything at all. Where have you enjoyed?
Where do I go?
Time?
Covent Garden. I like the Covent Garden area.
Yeah.
Covent Garden, Seven Dials sort of area. That's kind of a cool spot to go.
What about Covent Garden though? Because the thing about certain spots in London, it can be very, very crowded.
Yes.
So the thing about Covent Garden is that it's an awesome place, but it can be incredibly crowded, especially on a Saturday afternoon when you might be there. What you need to do is get through the crowds that you will experience outside Covent Garden Underground Station and in the sort of main part of Covent Garden, and move out into some of the side streets in that area.
Yeah.
And that's where you find nice little shops, nice cafes and pubs and things, and wander around the side streets between Tottenham Court Road or Oxford Street and Covent Garden.
Yeah. And
that whole area there, like between Covent Garden and Oxford Street, there are some really good spots there, and you get Soho as well, which is a nice place to explore on foot. Yeah,
that's a good spot.
Avoid Oxford Street. I would just avoid it.
Yeah, there's nothing
completely.
in Oxford Street really for tourists. It's a place where they got shops, but what I never understand. in guides where it's like, oh, go shopping in this area. Why would you go shopping if you're on holiday? You've got a suitcase. You're not going to bring... unless you go to America and things cost half the price, but then you just go to an outlet store or something like that. So I just... if you're going to go shopping, why would you go shopping in London when you just go shopping at home?
Because in some places, they don't have the shops they've got in London.
Yeah, you've got internet. Everything's available on the internet. Everything. You can't not get any... Like, if I want some green tea matcha Kit Kats, which I brought back from Japan, you can buy them online. It's just buy it. You can buy everything online. Don't waste your time going shopping.
Some people just enjoy shopping.
Yeah, well, they're idiots. No, I'm joking.
If you like buying things, you're an idiot.
No. Yeah, if you like buying stuff, then go shopping. But yeah,
but avoid Oxford Street, especially Oxford Circus, which is one of the most visited spots in London, and it's not worth it. It's just there's too many damn people.
It's like Shibuya. The
Shibuya's got more appeal than Oxford Circus.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because Oxford Circus is not really that much to see, but Shibuya, by definition, is worth visiting just because there are so many people there.
Yeah.
Like that moment when everyone crosses the road. I mean, that is an amazing thing to see.
It's fun.
Whereas Oxford Circus, it's not the same kind of thing. It's not like, wow, there's 1 million people in this place.
Yeah.
Instead, it's just like, no, this is just really claustrophobic and awful.
That's because we're English and we're not.
I don't think anyone would want to go and visit Oxford Circus. The fact that it's crowded is not a reason to go there.
Yeah.
Unlike Shibuya, which is, it being crowded is quite a good reason to go there.
Yeah.
Regent Street as well. Regent Street and Oxford Circus. These places are very crowded, and you probably need to avoid them. But the little side streets around those areas are really interesting. But you need to plan your route so you avoid.
Don't go to Big Ben. Because it's got scaffolding all around it until 2021, so there's no point in going there. If you're listening to this podcast in 2022, then go to it. It's fine.
Yeah.
But otherwise, don't.
Very symbolic. Very symbolic. The Big Ben, which is actually the name of the bell. Did you know that?
Yes, because it's called St. Stephen's Tower. No, St. Christopher's Tower. The tower is got a name.
I thought it was the Tower of Westminster. But
maybe. But
Google it.
Yeah.
Hey Siri.
Hey Siri, give me information about Big Ben.
Big Ben is the nickname for the Great Bell of the Clock at the north end of the Palace of Westminster in London and is usually extended to refer to both the clock and the clock tower. Shall I continue?
Yes.
The official name of the tower in which Big Ben is located was originally the Clock Tower, but it was renamed Elizabeth Tower in 2012 to mark the Diamond Jubilee of Elizabeth II.
All right, there we go.
Elizabeth.
All right, shut up, Siri.
No,
stop.
When complete.
All right.
Shut up.
Thanks, Siri. So Elizabeth Tower. It was renamed Elizabeth Tower.
Yes, it was renamed Elizabeth Tower. There you go.
Okay. So anyway, it's the Big Ben is actually the name of the bell that. This huge bell that goes dong, bong, bong.
Well, it starts off. That's just the bonging, but the actual thing is
blang, 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 blang,
blang, blang, blang, blang, blang, blang, blang, blang, blang, blang, blang, blang,
bong. And it's famous, of course, but at the moment it's not going bong. Because they're fixing it.
Yeah, it's not going bong and it looks ugly because there's scaffolding everywhere.
It's covered in scaffolding.
Yeah.
But
don't waste your time.
Yeah, but I was saying it's very...
Take a boat, a river boat, though, from Westminster.
Yes.
So do go there. To like somewhere like Greenwich. Greenwich is cool.
A good experience, yes. Take a riverboat tour up the river to Greenwich and back. And a good walk that you can do is if you start at Big Ben, you cross over Westminster Bridge onto the South Bank and you walk along past the London Eye all the way round the river
Tower Bridge.
To Tower Bridge. You go past the Tate Modern and lots of other sort of iconic buildings.
And you see St. Paul's Cathedral on the other side.
You'll see St. Paul's Cathedral on the other side.
You see the bridge from Harry Potter.
You'll see the bridge from Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. There's no T's in that. Harry Potter is spelled P-O-G-A-P-E-R.
That's right. And the Tower of London, and lots of really cool things along the river there. So that's a good thing to do. Walk along the river, along the South Bank.
If it's a nice day, you want to go down at Hyde Park, innit?
Yeah. Hyde Park.
Which was originally... Do you know why it's called Hyde Park?
Nope.
Because it was the area or the spot where the first game of hide and seek was created.
Say what? Shut up.
No, it's not true.
Okay, Made Up Facts with Paul Taylor.
Made Up Facts with
It's
Paul
quite
Taylor.
a good game.
Yeah.
Quite a good game. So no, we don't know.
Do you know what Blackfriars Bridge is called?
Blackfriars Bridge. Is it because that's where back in the racist times, that's where they used to torture the black slaves?
No, it's close. Well, it's not really close, but it's essentially back in the day. When fish and chips were made, they were made in a standard like steel fryer, inox, whatever it's called, steel. I think it's steel. I don't know.
Like a sort of cast iron.
Yeah, cast iron, like a fryer where they used to fry the fish.
Yeah.
And then this guy decided that it would the fish would taste better because obviously the color black absorbs heat quicker than reflecting it. So he tried it with a fryer that had a black coating inside it.
Yes.
And so that's why it's called Blackfriars.
Is this actual science?
No, it's all bullshit.
Made up facts with
Made up
Paul Taylor. Why is St Paul's Cathedral called St Paul's Cathedral?
It's called St Paul's Cathedral because what happened is that I'm actually from the past, and it was
Really?
named after me. But then
Not before you.
No, I mean it was built before me now, but I time travelled and I
You went back and you ensured that Paul was a common name.
yeah. And because I like shouting so much, what I decided to install in there was a whispering gallery.
I see.
I always shout. I'm always angry. So when you're in St Paul's Cathedral, you can whisper, and somebody else can hear you, which is great.
Because the way that St Paul's Cathedral is designed is that you can be on one side of the cathedral and you can whisper, and the acoustics carry your voice across to the other side.
I reckon that was a complete accident.
I think so too.
And they're just making it seem like that it was beautifully designed. I think it was just a complete accident.
It just happens when it's a circular room.
Yeah.
You know, sound carries around to the other side of a circular room.
That's the other thing about being a tourist.
Yes.
Is that half of the stuff. Sometimes I was listening to some of the things or reading some of the stuff. I'm like, maybe it was just an accident. How do you know? No one knows.
What you mean, like the history stuff is often just made up, or it's very dubious. Like some of the bits of history that you read in the tour guides.
Yeah.
Or it's kind of like a really unsatisfying, one-dimensional story that they're telling you, and it's kind of like, come on.
Yeah.
You know, like they omit the grisly details and things.
Yeah, and it just becomes it was similar to, for me. It was like learning English when we did English at school. We read like Shakespeare stuff, and my English teacher would like break down a specific sentence. I think it's part of the curriculum, so I think everyone did it. But it was like, he wrote it in this way. What do you think he meant by these words? And it's like, maybe he didn't mean anything. Did you ask him? No. So shut up. Stop trying to be so. It's just a nice word. But then sometimes, it could be true. But then other times, you're just like, maybe it was just an accident. Maybe you put those words together. It sounded really well.
Yeah. Like maybe he was just trying to come up with an entertaining story, and now we're reading too much into it. It's possible. I've made up a story about Hyde Park.
Oh yeah.
For my podcast, it's in my app. It's only in the app. It's an app-only episode.
An app-only episode.
That's right, and it's like a stupid sort of adventure fantasy story set during the industrial period in Hyde Park.
Right.
I made the story. One day I was like, right, I'm going to do an app-only episode. I need to teach. I decided I would teach lots of ways of walking, all the vocab, like walk, stroll, creep, tiptoe, pace, run, all the different verbs for walking. And I thought, right, I'm going to need just a quick story to just demonstrate them all. And my quick story ended up being like a half an hour short story.
Of course it was.
But I had lots of fun coming up with this narrative. And basically it's like this guy who used to be an industrialist has moved to Bayswater, which is next to Hyde Park.
Right.
And he's sort of enjoying this kind of life of a bachelor, and going into Hyde Park and walking there and picking up girls in the park and all this sort of thing. And then one day he meets a friend of his who's like a scientist, and his friend is like, saying, there's something wrong going on in the park because there's all this fog everywhere. And it turns out the fog is like weird infected fog from the factories because they're using some weird chemical in their factories, and it's infecting all the animals in the park, and it's turning them all into animal zombies.
Right.
And this guy's like, but I've got the antidote to turn them all normal again. We have to go into the park tonight and hunt down the largest animals and fire these blow darts with the antidote into them so that they will go back to normal, and then they'll be saved. And so it was so much fun coming up with there was a pack of wolves, mutant wolves, that they have to track down and hunt.
You just made all this
I
up?
just made all this shit
up
as
you were going along?
Not as I was going along, but that morning I wrote it all down and then just sort of edited a little bit and then just recorded it all. And I was really pleased with myself at the end. I was like, wow, I came up with
sounds incredible.
Kind of an adventure story. And
new J.K. Rowling over here.
Yeah, maybe.
Rowling.
I don't know. But so I haven't had any feedback on it at all. And that's...
Is that because it's one person with the app?
I don't know. No, there's lots of people using the app now. It's just that there's no comment section.
Oh.
So I don't know what specifically. Yeah. No one's written a comment on it. So I've no idea. Now, either that means that everyone who heard it was unimpressed by it, or it just means that they haven't found a way to leave their thoughts.
That brings up a whole other conversation about the whole commenting thing.
Yeah.
Because, back in the day, when you watched a TV show...
I was going to just say, I guess we will wrap up our tourist in London advice. We'll wrap that up in a moment. Yeah. But anyway, you want to talk about commenting on things?
Yeah, it's just a random thought of back in the TV shows, movies, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
you would watch it, and if you didn't like it, you didn't like it. If you liked it, you liked it. But that was it. There was nowhere to comment. You couldn't comment on stuff.
Well, what people used to do back in the day, when it was just television, is that people would be watching the TV and they would write letters.
Yeah.
Some people would actually sit down and write a letter of complaint to the BBC. Dear BBC, blah 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 blah. And the public would never see these things.
Yeah.
But the guys in the TV studio would receive all the mail, and I'm sure a lot of it was really outrageous racist stuff or deeply personal attacks on the presenters.
Probably, yeah.
And all manner of outrageous complaints about the programming.
I think that people probably, unless they were really... it's so easy to do that now. Whereas before, you had to write a letter, you had to go to the post office, you had to buy a stamp, you probably bought the wrong stamp, so you had to buy another stamp, you had to weigh the letter, and then you had to send it, you had to find the address, and then by that time, you're just like, it's not worth it.
Now, any idiot can just be like, I hate you, on social networks.
Go back to your country, send... it's just a random thought.
Do you get that? Do you get abuse?
Ever? On YouTube, no. On my channel, people are really lovely.
Yes.
Which is really weird. Somebody said that to me the other day. I can't remember who it was, but somebody said to me that the comments and it was somebody on you. Somebody commented. One of the comments on my channel was that it's really weird to see a channel where there's no one. Just being random, it's an actual community of people who give me great feedback. They give me comments and they talk. There's no one.
There are no haters in there.
On the when we were doing What the Fuck France, there were.
Really?
I mean, it's overwhelmingly positive, but there was always if you're not happy, go back to your country.
I remember once you got one that made me laugh, which is just go back to your paedophile island.
Yes, that was my very first, one of my very first comments on the video when we did La Bise, the kissing in France. One of the very first comments I got through Twitter was, if you're not happy, go back to your paedophile island.
Paedophile island.
Yeah.
I thought it could be a TV show, like a reality show. The name of a new reality show,
Paedophile
Tonight at 10 on BBC 2. No, it wouldn't be BBC 2, it'd be Channel 4, wouldn't it?
Of course it would be.
Tonight at 10 on Channel 4, Paedophile Island. But I don't know what the content of the show would be, and it's probably best that we don't
I think
explore the possible stories.
It's just paedophiles get put on an island and they get shot one by one. That's it.
That's it? Okay.
That's it, I think.
All right, okay then. Okay.
So that's it.
I'm not going to speculate more about that.
Touristy stuff. That's it basically. I think it's just if you're going to a place and you can do the touristy thing, then great, do it. But try and do other stuff as well. But I know it's a lot easier said than done because we failed at doing it in Japan. So
just on the subject of giving advice to people going to London or Paris, I'm sure that I've got listeners who genuinely want my proper, well-thought, well-considered advice for visiting London. It's one of the things that people ask me quite a lot. So what we just did there is just sort of randomly in the context of a conversation, just made some gave some advice about visiting London, but what I should probably do is a proper
episode.
A proper episode where I really think about it carefully.
You won't though.
Oh, I might. I might.
Have you not already? I'm surprised you haven't already done that one. What episode of what are you on to now? How many episodes?
520 something.
That's outrageous.
Yeah, it's quite a lot. Isn't it?
So many.
Quite a lot. Yeah, I'm going for the 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
Each one is about an hour long. So if I get to 1,000, that's 1,000 hours. It's only 1,000. I'm only at 500 hours. There's a concept. I don't know. It was Malcolm Gladwell, the writer, who came up with it, who said that if you want to be brilliant at something, if you want to be successful at it, you need to do 10,000 hours. You need to put in 10,000 hours worth of experience in order to be really good at it. Is that right? Is that the concept? That's
basically it. Yeah, if you do 10,000 hours worth of something, then that's when you become amazing at doing it.
Right. I think I've done 10,000 hours worth of teaching. Have I? So if I do an average of, let's say, 25 hours a week of actual teaching time,
you get the calculator out.
Often it's more, sometimes it's less, but let's say 25 hours a week.
25 hours a week.
Let's say I do on average, I don't know,
40 weeks a year.
Let's say 40 weeks. It's probably more, but let's say 40 weeks per year.
Yeah.
So what's that? 25 hours times 40.
1,000.
Multiplied by 16 years.
Oh, 16,000.
So 16,000 hours.
Yeah,
I must have done about 10,000 hours worth of English teaching. Does that mean I'm a master at English teaching?
In theory.
What about if I've just done the same thing for every hour with no improvement at all?
Well, then you just be really good at doing that.
That 1 hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Well, it's like and that's it's like a comedy show, isn't it? Mm-hmm. You don't do it for 10,000 hours, but you do it for enough where you go, okay, cool. I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, basically, if you do something a lot, you get better at it. That's the idea. We're gonna stop the episode here, Paul.
All right, let's do that.
Okay, but have you got time to stick around and do something else?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Listeners, thank you very much for listening to this rambling conversation.
Pow!
And what did we cover? Your holiday.
Yeah, what I've been up to,
You've been up to.
Tourist tips
and things like that. Leave your comments in the comment section of this episode. Find Paul's vlog, YouTube, Paul Taylor. Vlog number 12 should be the one that we recorded today up here on the rooftop here, and you can leave your comments there too. Subscribe to Paul's YouTube channel.
Yeah, subscribe and share it and do all that kind of stuff.
What else? That's it. Just be great. Just be great generally in your life today.
Be great.
Be great, and I'll speak to you again soon. Ready to say goodbye?
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Goodbye. Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye. Hello. They can't say hello again.
Goodbye. Oh, the video's still running.
Hello.
Can they hear? Can you hear? Can you hear what we're saying? Yes, you can. All right, nice one. Thanks for listening and watching the video.
Yeah, thanks for watching. This is the secret bit after the podcast.
Look at them. Look at all of those people.
That no one can actually hear.
Look at that one person who's still watching.
Yeah.
All right, Jose, or whatever you know. Jose from
Jose.
From wherever you're from.
Hello, my name is Jose. I am from Spain. But yes.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed listening to that and watching us talking there as well in the nice weather, unlike today. Now, I want to make certain corrections to what was said a couple of times in this episode. So a couple of little corrections. I know that some of you will be thinking like, but you said this and then you said this. Meaning you said one thing and then you contradicted yourselves by saying something else. Well, I just want to clarify a couple of things, just to prevent some of you going, you contradicted yourselves. Most of you are probably thinking, what? It's fine. Everything's fine. But for that one person who's going, well, you said that, but you actually said that. Let me clarify. So let's see. The 9th arrondissement of Paris is not in the west of Paris, but it is to the west of Gare du Nord station. So it's not in the west of Paris, but it's to the west of Gare du Nord station. So in the west and to the west, they're different things. If you say that something is in the west, that means, let's say, in the west of Paris, that means it's in Paris and on the sort of western side. And if you say it's to the west of something, it means that it's sort of next to something on the western side of it. All right. So the 9th arrondissement of Paris is in the centre of Paris, but it's to the west of Gare du Nord station. Some people will choose, when they come to Paris, especially if they're coming from London, taking the train, they might choose to get a hotel in the area around Gare du Nord station. But if that's the case, then do choose carefully, because that's not the nicest area of Paris. Some people will choose to arrive at Gare du Nord station and then walk straight to Montmartre, which is a very nice tourist destination. I mean, it's quite crowded, but it's a nice spot. It's a hill in the north of Paris where you get a nice view, and you can see the Sacré-Cœur Basilica, which is like a really nice tourist destination. Quite a crowded one, but still worth visiting. But some people will come to the Gare du Nord and walk straight to Montmartre, but the area between the station and Montmartre isn't that nice. So you should go west to a place like Rue des Martyrs in the 9th arrondissement and then walk up to Montmartre from there. So don't go directly to Montmartre from the station. Go west first and then go up. That's what I was trying to say. I wasn't trying to say that the 9th arrondissement is in the west of Paris. Another thing you might be thinking is, you said that being in a tourist bus was horrible and like watching TV, and then you recommend that people go on a bus to get a look at the city. Well, we're talking about different kinds of buses. So the miserable looking ones are the tourist coaches. Like, there's the difference between a bus and a coach here. Coaches are, I guess, usually bigger. They're a lot more comfortable. They carry tourists over long distances, where buses usually operate within a city, and they just tend to take passengers over shorter distances. You see what I mean? So I was talking about the tourist coaches, which tourists use to travel all around Europe. They might go from city to city to city, and the tourists end up spending most of their lives sleeping in comfy chairs or just looking out of the window. And I don't find that to be a great experience myself. But the tourist buses that we're talking about in this episode, they are the kind of open top, hop on, hop off variety. You know, buses where the top of the top deck has no roof on it, so they're open top. And you can hop on or hop off. That means you can just get on and then when the bus stops in a certain place, you can hop off and visit for a while and then hop on the next one. Hop on, hop off. So these kinds of buses operate in lots of cities, including in London and in Paris. And they've got no roof, as I said. And as a result, it's a much better experience, as long as it's not raining. Because it's a better experience because you actually get really good views of the city and you feel like you're part of it because there's no roof on the bus. They tend to visit all the best districts and sites, and that can be a good way to get an overview of the city in a day or an afternoon or something. And that's just a good way to help you identify areas that you'd like to explore later on foot. Yes, and it's on foot, not by walk or by foot. It's on foot. You can explore areas on foot after you've had a look at them from the top of the tourist bus. By the way, if you like the sound of my Hyde Park adventure mystery story that we mentioned, the one with the zombie animals in the 19th century, you can find that in the Luke's English Podcast app, in the app-only episodes category. It's called the Hyde Park Mystery Story. And with that episode, you can listen to my story and also learn about 50 different verbs for walking. And I believe that episode includes verbs like hop and also wander. Hop definitely came up in the episode. Did wander come up in the episode? To wander around? It may have done. To hop means that, when you walk on one leg. So, like you know what I mean? Like if you're bouncing up and down on one leg. I'm just trying to think if there are any animals that hop. No, I don't think so. But you know what I mean. Normally you walk on two legs, but when you hop, you boink, 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 boink on just one leg. Hop on, hop off buses. You don't technically hop on the bus using only one leg. There's no, as we established in this episode, there's no law for that. But for some reason, to hop on means to just get on quickly. But anyway, that's the verb hop, is to sort of, jump up and down on one leg. And the verb wander, which is spelt W-A-N-D-E-R, not W-O-N-D-E-R, but W-A-N-D-E-R. To wander means to walk around with no particular destination. Like, for example, when you're exploring a new part of town, to wander around. Like you hop on the bus, visit certain areas, and then you can hop off and sort of wander around for a bit and explore. And that's wander with an A, not with an O. Wander with an O, that means to think about something. I was just wondering, what would be a good place to visit if you went to London? Just wondering. So that's wander with an O. Okay? All right, that's the end of this video then. Thank you very much for watching. And thank you for being a wonderful human being in general and for supporting Luke's English podcast. And I'll speak to you again soon. But for now, goodbye. Bye, 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 bye.